So many people wonder why I stopped doing my podcast. Here's a perfect example as to why I stopped doing my podcast. Let's get into it. Skip, flip, trip. Skip it up and that up. Do you have balls? Awesome. Well, today's sponsor, Sheath Underwear. They're for you, baby, because they keep your holes cool. Holes. They're underwear that are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Sheath has 3 individual compartments to keep your twig and berries nice and cool. Traditional boxers are meant for, like, Neanderthals that just know. Sheath, they got an ergonomic design which is meant to prevent skin-on-skin contact from happening, which prevents heat and sweat buildup from happening. Sheath prevents all that. They are the holy grail of underwear. They have an inverted pouch for your Johnson to keep it from sticking to your thigh. I like saying thigh. You're going to chafe and readjust less because everything's in a separate compartment.
And because everything is separate, there's going to be less smell too. There's going to be less of that man cheese smell.
And hell, these underwear were invented by a U.S. Army soldier which wanted to keep his twig and berries cool because it was hot over there and his boys needed to breathe. He invented these underwear to keep your little man cool and comfortable. He's a hero and you should thank him. So click the link below and use code RTU to get 20% off your order and do a favor for your boys. Keep them cool and comfortable. Make sure your holes have holes. This is Rich, Review Tech USA, signing out, baby. So hey, everybody, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love how I look down at my desk like there's actually a subscribe button there. I should get a button that says subscribe on it and just hit it like that. That was easy. What was that, from Staples? Yeah. Anyway, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell to get notifications of all my newest uploads. Thanks a bunch. Thank you for the support. I'm a good-looking man. I'm irresistible. That's why you should subscribe as well. So, DrDisrespect, we know the whole story. He got banned from Twitch. We still don't know why he got banned from Twitch. Apparently, he doesn't even know the full story as to why he got banned from Twitch. He's now on YouTube. He's still doing incredibly well. Good for him. And during his live stream, someone brought up something that many people have been thinking for a long time. Why the hell don't you go on the Joe Rogan Experience? Which he shouted them out before. He's friends with young Jamie over there. He's friends with Joe. So many people expected eventually. I mean, he was on the H3 podcast, Guy Beam, who plays DrDisrespect. Why wouldn't you be on the Joe Rogan Experience, the most popular podcast in the world? Well, he actually explains why, and it just kind of drives home the reason why I just threw my hands and gave up on podcasting. For now. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute. Here is what DrDisrespect had to say. Let's take a look, then we'll discuss.
Joe Rogan calls and gives you a crisp invite. Probably not. I'm telling you, man. There's a reason. I'm going to go on a podcast my way. And that might require additional resources and funding. Okay.
Now, I know that's short and to the point, but it says quite a bit. Now, how does this tie into my podcast? Well, my podcast actually did well. And like I had episodes with Mudahar on there. I had an episode with Camelot. I had an episode with Scott the Waz that took me a second. And they all did well. It wasn't that the podcast wasn't performing. It was to get people featured in it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to name any names, but this was at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've gone through some other peaks. Some may say we're in another peak right now, but that's for different. This is like one of the first big waves. And there was someone in the medical community who I watched quite a bit, this person. And I would be like, you know, it would be interesting to have them on to talk about COVID-19. They're in the medical field. They have medical expertise. It would be great to give valid, accurate information to my audience with everything going on. Would make for a good podcast episode. So I send out a professional email explaining myself, greeting them, telling them about my channel. And look, this happens. I even do it too. If I had to respond back to every single email I got, it would be review, respond back to emails USA, and you would never see me make a video ever again. Okay, I would have to hire someone full time to just read my emails. And I don't have nearly as big a channel as many other YouTubers do. So this one person did email me back. And it was actually worse than if they didn't. They didn't say hello. They didn't greet themselves. They didn't even write anything formal or any kind of pleasantries. How many views do you get per video or per podcast? And I was truthful, and it was like anywhere from 70 to 130,000. Exceptions are like, again, Scott the Woz and some ordinary gamers, I think, went beyond that, but that was the accurate number. Never heard back again. I had similar situations like that happen too, and I'm like, this is like, I feel like I'm chasing a carrot on a stick. Like it was just to try to land somebody every week that people would be interested in talking to, and I would be interested in talking to, was just a rat race, man. It drove me insane, and I'm sure that's part of the reason. They either want money or they want viewership. That's kind of, I mean, excuse me if I'm wrong, guy. I mean, I watched what you said right there. It looked like there needed to be some extra zeros involved for you to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. And it's frustrating. It is. And that's, if you want to know the secret as to why I stopped for now doing the podcast, it's because of that. Now with my secondary YouTube channel, RTU Streams, and with some other things I have going on behind the scenes, there's a pretty high chance that podcast is going to reemerge. It's not really a matter of if, it's a matter of when, but the when is a big question. But we're working, that's all I'll say for now. But if you're wondering why podcasts are tough to get off the ground, here's one of the reasons. It's either the cost of entry to get someone on is high, or the viewership level needs to be high. And if you don't have at least one of the two, chances are you're going to get a no, or you're going to get ignored. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.